Hey, Think Realty, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast today. It's my privilege to be able to host you and host the great guest we have coming in just a second. As the third generation real estate investor, I built Think Realty as the founder over 13 years ago. I think it's 13 years ago. It's pretty close to that. And it's been a great journey to be able to bring content, information, and great people to you to help you along your real estate investing journey. But before we jump into the podcast, I want to say a quick thank you to our podcast sponsor. Our podcast sponsor is CV3 Financial. CV3 Financial is a great financial institution that provides all of your private money needs, whether you're looking at multifamily, single family, whether you're looking at refinance, whatever it is. I want you to reach out to CV3 Financial, and you can find them on the link there in front of you. CV3 Financial, thanks so much for sponsoring us today. Our guest today is Dave Wolcott. Dave is with Pantheon Investments. Thanks so much for being a part of the podcast today, Dave.
Hey, Eddie, grateful to be here to connect with you and your audience.
Yeah, very good. Dave, our audience typically are retail investors. They have 1, 2, 5 single family real estate properties. A lot of them are dabbling in multifamily. They're also dabbling in various other things. And the constant conversation I'm having with our constituents, listeners, viewers, members, is that they really don't know where the marketplace is going. So they're having a hard time deciding their next step in real estate, right? Like the market is undulated, it feels like we're at the peak. Maybe we're not at the peak, right? Interest rates are high. They might go down, right? Like all these conversations. I just want to get your take on the current marketplace. I know you don't have a crystal ball, but any thoughts on where we're headed, where we're actually at? Just general thoughts on the marketplace.
Yeah, appreciate that, Eddie. I didn't bring my crystal ball today, but what I can tell you is for the past 20, 25 years, I've been studying the ultra wealthy and how they allocate capital. What are their strategies? What do they do? And family offices are typically investing for 25-year horizons, where you're going through multiple election campaign cycles, you're going through various interest rate environments, right? And lots of different things. And what we see is that the majority of people actually don't have a comprehensive wealth strategy, right? And where people are actually going wrong is that they're reacting too much to the news and everything that they hear in, again, whether that be interest rates, market environments, geopolitical events, things like that. So ideally, what you really want to do is create this holistic wealth strategy, which is what I wrote a book about, to create more of a comprehensive view and strategy that can really manage your downside, manage your upside, and really get you through, all different cycles.
Before we jump into Pantheon Investments, talk to us about that theory you have, the book you wrote. Give us a 30,000 foot view on what it looks like to build a comprehensive wealth strategy.
Yeah, so really it all starts with creating a vision for yourself and understanding where you go. Just like when you get in the car on the trip, you plug in your GPS coordinates, and most people just really don't have clarity on where it is they're going in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, right? So first, getting really clear on your vision statement. And then we have 5 simple phases. The first one being mindset, right? Mm-hmm. It's all about opening up your mind, right? Meeting new people, creating goals, creating new habits to support that, letting go of certain limiting beliefs, right? And really having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Phase 2, we move into trying to increase multiple levels of your capital, social capital, human capital, right? Emotional capital, spiritual capital. How can you improve all of these things to drive your financial capital, right? And we can do this by listening to great podcasts like this, investing in ourselves as your number one asset, right? And constantly making investments there to really grow your wealth holistically. Phase 3 would be jumping into actually creating infrastructure in a team around yourself, right? So what's our number one biggest expense as an example? It's taxes,
Mhm.
right? So how many people actually have a very proactive tax strategy and work on that? We're all real estate investors on this show, so we know how to get some advantages.
Mhm.
But look, the opportunity is there to actually pay zero in
Mhm.
taxes. So if you're not paying zero in taxes, you've got a big opportunity right there. We're also thinking about things such as estate planning, asset protection, things to really create a fortress around your wealth and protect you and your family. So that's really phase three. And phase four, we talk about asset repositioning.
Mhm.
So 90% of Americans typically have their capital locked up in two places. It's government sponsored qualified plans and it's trapped equity in your
Mhm.
primary residence, which is a rate of return of zero, right?
Sure.
So where can you take, some of that capital that you have today and really optimize it to a higher yield and a lower risk? And then the last one, Eddie, is fun, right? That's all about building massive passive income. And whether that's through, single family rentals, doing multifamily syndications, or, other things, right? We invest in energy, for instance, in oil and gas. You can really get a triple play where you're offsetting your active income taxes down to zero, and you're driving passive income and creating forced appreciation, right? So
Mhm.
to create some diversity in your asset allocation portfolio, and again, keep driving towards where you're going.
Really good. How do they find this book? It sounds like a fantastic book. Where can they find it at? And what's the name?
Yeah, so I wanted to provide a special gift to your listeners today. So if anyone is interested in a free copy of the gift of the book, you could go to holisticwealthstrategy.com.
Okay, perfect. That's awesome. I highly recommend that. Sounds like a fantastic book. I look forward to trying to get to reading that in the very near future as well. I often say that, as a real estate investor, I need to know how to create wealth. I need to know how to keep my wealth, and need to know how to protect my wealth, right? Like very simply speaking, sounds like you kind of take each one of those elements and break it down into two or three pieces, which I love and highly recommend. Let's jump into the actual company that you have, Pantheon. If you don't mind, explain to us what it is that you do, how the structure works, and kind of what the strategy is.
Yeah, so great question, Eddie. And kind of like you, I mean, I started this journey back in 2000, right?
Mhm.
And after I took the purple pill and read Kiyosaki's books, right, I was inspired and it changed the paradigm for me, but there was no blueprint.
Mhm.
Right? How do you create wealth like that, right? So Pantheon is really my way of giving back to people and sharing all the lessons I've learned over
Mhm.
the past 20 years of investing in alternative asset classes, real estate, tax strategies, all of these different types of things. So what we do is I really think about it as solving problems for the investor.
Mhm.
We have tax problems, right? We have passive income problems, right? We have diversification challenges. So what we do at Pantheon is we provide deal flow, primarily for accredited investors who can, invest in what I would call invisible deals that
Mhm.
people just don't see in the market because we have great relationships with family offices and private equity groups. We also are licensed and can help people with cash value whole life insurance policies,
Mhm.
so you can add more velocity to your overall portfolio. And we have a mastermind community and also a virtual family office, which is really a done for you wealth management solution.
Mhm.
But we think in terms of understanding the asset class of real estate. We understand alternative strategies, unlike 95% of most wealth management that's out there today.
Sure. And access to that is so powerful. Coming from a family that understands what a family office is, and how to use it and how to strategically use it. If you're unfamiliar, I know that term gets thrown out there, for the listeners and viewers out there. It gets thrown around a lot, a family office. But what you don't understand is the power of a family office. Family office has all of the tax strategists. They typically have CFO, tax architect, Usually they have a CPA that's engaged in there. They usually have then somebody that's just looking at real estate assets, just looking at private equity investments, just looking at typically stock, bonds, mutual funds, so on and so forth. And so the power of a family office is so important to growing wealth. And it's how the Rockefellers and Gates and all these guys, like they don't understand how to invest like the family office does. They know how to go generate wealth. They now create wealth, keep wealth, protect wealth through the family office. And so what he just talked about is so vitally important. To have access to something virtual that gives you that same power, gives you a leg up on every single other person around you that's investing. And so, Dave, I love that strategy. I love what you're building. That's really, really incredible and powerful. So how can they find out more about you? How do they kind of get engaged in what you're doing?
Yeah, the best place is just at our website, pantheoninvest.com. We're happy to start the conversation, have a free wealth strategy call. And really, again, it's all about really understanding your vision, your goals, what wealth means to you, and how can we provide value, right? Whether that's through education, or certain resources that we can have.
Yeah, that's great. And if you're unsure, he mentioned the word accredited, and I know that's a term we throw around loosely. And a lot of people, because maybe you have 3 or 4 or 5 single family assets, you don't know if you're accredited or not. I would highly recommend you go to the site and begin to understand, because I've met so many people that don't believe they are accredited, and they actually are accredited, especially in our world. And the power you have as an accredited investor to have access to deals and opportunities is really, really powerful. And it's an initiative that we at Think Realty and also the sister company AAPL have really spearheaded and spent a lot of time in DC helping redefine it. I think we're the only people that are actually cited in the new ruling on what accreditation is, specific to savvy, sophisticated investors, so on and so forth, because we've spent so much time. So as an investor, you need to understand who you are and what you're capable of. And I think that this is a great vehicle to find that out. Dave, any last just kind of pieces of advice where we are? We're in a crazy election cycle right now. The market's moving. Is there any piece of advice you'd give to a real estate investor right now?
Absolutely, Eddie. What I would say is that you are your greatest asset, right? Anytime I've invested in my health, my education, right, my relationship capital, I've always received a 10x, 100x type of return. Mm-hmm. So I would say dial down the noise, right? That's out there today. Trust the sources of where you're getting your information, and invest in yourself so you can make the right decisions, because you'll never win someone else's game. What you want to be doing is win your own game. So let's create your own chessboard and start investing in that so that you can win.
Awesome. I love it. Dave, thanks so much for being a part of the show today. How can they find you? Just one more time, website, and then would you like them to look you up on social?
Yeah, again, if you want a free copy of the book, go to holisticwealthstrategy.com is really the best entry point into our platform. Certainly reach out to me, LinkedIn, social, anywhere, we're out there. But again, happy to engage. And, our mission is really to, impact people by changing the way they think about wealth so that they can actually create extraordinary freedom in their lives.
Awesome, Dave. Thanks so much for being a part of the show.
You bet. Thank you.
One more quick thank you to our sponsor, which today's episode is sponsored by CV3 Financial Services. When you're taking on a real estate investment project, having a trusted lender is key. Count on CV3 for your fix and flip, rental, cash out, or rate and term refi needs. Visit cv3financial.com/think realty, cv3financial.com/think realty. Also, if you haven't taken advantage of our Think Realty Plus program, our Think Realty Plus program has been in existence for about a year now or so. And it's a way that you get everything we have. It's the magazine that we put out, that's on the shelves of Barnes & Noble. It comes to your doorstep. It's access to all of our events. We do 3 different events a year, as well as access to our resident experts that come on a monthly basis, have conversations with you, and have open dialogue with you about their strategies, what they do. And we bring in true resident experts that are experts in very specific fields of real estate investing. And so if you're not taking advantage of the Think Realty Plus program, we'd love for you to do that. You can go to thinkrealty.com and use the code LAUNCH and that will get you the Think Realty Plus program for $14.99 a month. That's the most we have to offer. For us, we just would love to educate and get behind the masses of people who want to see real estate investing as an opportunity for them. We want to be your companion for life. So what other group you decide to be a part of, you go to Dave's mastermind, you go to any of these masterminds out there, we highly, highly encourage it. We just want to also support that and give you access to great data, content, and people. That's what Think Realty is all about. I hope you have a great day. Please, as always, let us know your thoughts, your opinions, give us feedback on the shows, and we would love to connect with you on all the social platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, also Instagram, where you are at, and we'd love to connect further. Thanks so much. Have a great day.